With just Kindly's banner finally ending, we have two dragon daddies for the upcoming banners. The blue one hates the brown one, and the brown one fears the blue one. Man, what a beautiful relationship they have. If you're new to this channel, I mainly make lore videos, but since this type of videos takes some time to make, I want to add another type of content that is easier for me to make while I make the lore videos in the meantime, and that is character reviews before their rerun banners. If you watch my Xilonen and Nahida video, that's pretty much the type of content I'll introduce to you starting today, but I'll be voicing them this time around. Today, we're going to talk about Zhongli, and I'll make Neuvillette's video after that. Huge thank you to Zephos for helping me make this video possible. As always, don't forget to give this video a like and comment so the channel can be noticed by the algorithm. Not only it helps this channel a lot, but also lets me know that I'm doing a good job. My name is Genshin and I make lore and commentary videos on this channel to keep you company. Let's get to know Zhongli first. His normal attacks are irrelevant, but it does have a nice unique charge attack animation. His skill, however, is the main reason why you want to pull for him. When tapped, he will summon a Geo-construct pillar called Stone Cell and will periodically deal damage to enemies surrounding it. If there's another Geo-construct nearby the Stone Cell will resonate towards that Geo-construct, allowing it to deal periodic damage as well. When held, Zhongli will unleash a Geo Energy, summoning his Stone Cell and grant himself a shield based on his HP. When there's a Geo element, Zhongli will absorb a large amount of that Geo element up to 2 enemies. It's mostly used for draining Geo shields that are on enemies, or you can use this for mining crystals as well. On its own, this skill's damage is quite pitiful, but that's not the main reason why you want to use this skill. It's mostly on his shield. Once you unlock his first Ascension passive, the shield will become stronger by 5% when it gets attacked and stacks up to 5 times, totaling up to 25% shield strength. Zhongli's shield is quite special. Shields in general also give interruption resistance to allies until it breaks or expires. However, being a Geo character means this element produces the strongest shield that you can get that can persistently absorb all kinds of damage equally by 150%, whereas other shields are 250% of their corresponding element. It doesn't stop there. Not only it protects your allies, but also reduces resistance of both physical and elemental by 20% to the enemies. Just with a shield, you can reduce all elemental resistance to enemies, making him a powerful asset to a lot of hypercarry teams, including Gender and Animal where they don't react with Geo at all. This makes him one of the most versatile support units in the game, where you gain not only strong sustain, but also a strong debuff as well. His Elemental Burst deals a huge nuke Geo damage to enemies in front of him and petrifies them for up to 4 seconds. This is quite unique crowd control that only Zhongli has. It's essentially freeze, but unlike freeze where most enemies nowadays have resistance towards it, no enemy except bosses have resistance towards petrify, making it have a fixed duration and a strong crowd control. Once you unlock his 4th Ascension passive, this skill deals even more damage based on his HP. Zhongli's artifact set is quite varied, but Tenacity of the Millelith is his best in slot artifact set. It increases all party members' attack by 20% and shield strength by 30% that lasts 3 seconds. Since Zhongli's Stone Cell deals periodic damage, this makes Zhongli one of the best characters that can maximize this artifact's effect. If you're using him for Death teams, Deepwood Memories is also an option for him. With this, Zhongli can effectively reduce the enemy's standard resistance by 50%. This makes him great for spread and aggravate based teams if there's no other teammate that can hold this artifact set. Zhongli is usable with a constellation or his weapon, and ironically enough, the weapon designed for him is not his best weapon. If you want the 5-star weapon of him, Staff of Homa is your best choice, but it's not that necessary for him as the free-to-play options are good enough for him. If you want constellations, Constellation 2 or Constellation 3 are your best stopping point for stronger shield and better shield rotation. With that said, here are the main takeaways. Being a Geo character allows him to generate a shield that can absorb all type of damage effectively. Zhongli's shield gets stronger when they attack. Combined with the first point, this makes Zhongli have the strongest shield in the game. Zhongli's shield can effectively reduce all types of resistance, making him one of the only characters that can fit into any team for his strong sustain and strong support combined with the artifacts. Now, let's talk about how well he excels in the current meta. If you look at most tiers, he still reigns at the top spot in S tier despite the release of Xilonen. So, why is that? Well, let's talk about it. As mentioned above, Zhongli has the strongest shield in game. There are the characters with strong shield, but in this day and age, shields are not the only thing that can be classified as worthy in the endgame. It's the same thing as healing. No matter how strong your healing or shields are, if it doesn't do anything else, then you better find a better option, especially with HP inflation as we go throughout the patch. This is the reason why Siegewin and Nahida are not considered that useful in the endgame, because they don't really do anything else other than sustain. Zhongli is still an impressive support character. Shield, debuff, and attack buff from artifacts. Geo Resonance is also quite versatile. Double Geo team comps can increase damage dealt by your allies and grant them a more durable shield in the process. However, double Geo comps consist of very expensive units, that being Zhongli and Xilonen. Yes, both can work together. Who would have thought? If you don't have Xilonen, Albedo is also an option as he can buff your allies from his kit, or you can use Chiori for additional off-field DPS. I also mentioned Zhongli as one of the only non-Dendro characters that can be a Dendro support as well. Using Deep Wood Memories on him can significantly reduce enemies' Dendro resistance by 50%, and that is a huge number that should not be scoffed at. For perspective, this is how much damage for non-Deep Wood and with Deep Wood build Zhongli took in each. This is not only with Kinich, but also just any Dendro DPS in general. Characters like Tsunagi will appreciate Zhongli's shield the most because Tsunagi is very vulnerable during his charge attack state. This is not only with Tsunagi, but any charge attack characters in general. Someone like Alhaitham will also appreciate the shield to give a comfortable experience when dealing damage to enemies. If you pair these Dendro characters with Zhongli and Albedo, not only they gain stronger survivability in the process, but also strong damage boost thanks to Zhongli's debuff and Albedo's EM buff. While it's not necessarily the best, it is a possible team comp that can deal respectable damage towards your enemies while having a comfortable experience at the same time. Zhongli is an essential part of mono Geo teams. Most Geo units consist of Geo Construct, which help Zhongli to maximize his artifact set effect and also deal chip damage towards enemies. Geo Resonance wants the allies to have shields anyway, and Zhongli is a perfect example for this. It's also important to take note that yes, Xilonen works in Mono Geo, but something that Xilonen cannot do is activate her source samples off-field. So she has to be the main DPS if you want her to be in Mono Geo. She is a decent Geo DPS, but you cannot use her to support other Geo DPS because you need two different elements to do so. Realistically, Xilonen is better reserved for other team anyway because her support capability is just that valuable. The biggest takeaway here is how Zhongli is a great asset for hypercarry teams. Most hypercarries don't have interruption resistance and are usually locked behind constellations. Even if you already have that interruption resistance, Zhongli can remain in the team because of his support capabilities. Characters such as Neuvillette, Chlorant, Alhaitham, Tsunagi, and many other main DPS characters will have smoother experience from his shield alone while providing necessary support at the same time. Now, let's compare between Xilonen and Zhongli. When it comes to utility and sustain, both are doing great. If possible, you should pull for both. But of course, this is a comparison, so let's take a look at them together. Zhongli gives interruption resistance from his shield while Xilonen doesn't. This is very noticeable if you're using a charge attack bow user where you can't iframe or with C0 Neuvillette. Yes, you are trading it with higher damage, but it can ruin your rotation, therefore ruining potential DPS as well. Zhongli can perform in teams that Xilonen cannot buff, that being in Mono Geo teams, Animo DPS, and Dendro teams. Because of this, Zhongli can be used in any kind of team no matter the team comp or the element. Zhongli's debuff and buff is quite simple and easier to apply as you only need the shield, while Xilonen needs her to react with an element to activate the Scroll of the Cinder City effect. If you mess up your rotation, Xilonen cannot trigger the artifact's effect. Xilonen has stronger buffs and debuffs than Zhongli, with higher resistance reduction and elemental damage bonus from Scroll of the Cinder City. This leads to faster clear time at most contact. Xilonen is a better option with elements she can react with, that being Pyro, Electro, Cryo, and Hydro. This includes Navia, who benefits well with Crystallize and is able to pull Crystallize reaction towards herself, therefore activating the Geo Resonance as long as the Crystallize shield does not break. In short, Xilonen is greater in numbers than Zhongli, but Zhongli is better in survivability and comfort than Xilonen. Zhongli's elemental resistance is also unconditional, therefore making him more versatile than Xilonen. Of course, one can just say just use Xingqiu, but not every team can work with Xingqiu either, like Mualani, Ito, Ganyu, and Gaming for example. You also have to remember that not everything is about big damage. Yes, it is a huge factor, don't get me wrong, but you have to remember that consistency is still far superior than anything else. While Zhongli's utility is not as strong as Xilonen, he provides a near unbreakable shield to your allies, which is something that only he can do, and for a very early release character, that is an impressive utility. I however have to admit that while Zhongli is a fantastic unit, there's also better units that synergize better with some characters to clear content faster. This makes Zhongli a secondary option until you have a better unit for the comp you are using, and if you're a seasoned player, Zhongli can be replaced with someone else for more damage. Even so, there's no character that can be as comfortable as Zhongli since you do get everything in one just to have his shield present in the battlefield. With that said, should you pull for Zhongli? In my humble opinion, yes. Zhongli is a fantastic sustain with strong support capabilities. Despite not having as strong utility as Kazuha and Xilonen, Zhongli gives you the highest level of gameplay comfort to your team while still providing you with strong utility. Whatever team you put him on, he always brings something to the table and helps you clear content in ease. Thank you so much for watching. If you find it helpful, please consider giving this video a like and comment so the channel can be noticed by the algorithm. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Jana!